How's it going, everybody? Nathaniel from RCInsight here, and today I am going back to something that I did a very long time ago. I am re-reviewing the Perplexus Beast/Original. I decided I wanted to do this because there's 4 Perplexuses that I reviewed many years ago now, and my quality of videos just weren't nearly as good back then, and so I wanted to revisit them now and give my thoughts on them again now that 5 years has passed. And also, as I feel like my video quality is a lot better, I hope that these are the reviews that come up when people search for these and not my original ones. So with that quick little introduction out of the way, I do plan on re-reviewing the original, the Twist, the Death Star, and the Warp. And we're starting it off here with the original because there's no better way to do it. So 5 years have passed since I talked about this, and really my perspective on this maze probably has not changed too much. I would say that this is essentially the fundamental Perplexus. I mean, it is the original. It's still in production today under the new brand name Beast. It has some different colors now, but this is a really fantastic Perplexus toy and a great introduction to the overall series. Now, being the first, there are some things that are noticeable about it. The walls throughout this maze are really quite high. There's not as many areas to fall off. Like this maze does have quite a lot of forgiving areas. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't some challenging obstacles, but overall, it's pretty forgiving with even 3 checkpoints here. It goes 0 to 100, so it's not even. It's kind of in the medium range in terms of length. But it is a really good challenge and a great starting place for the series, or a great follow-up if you have played the Perplexus Rookie, for example. This is a great successor to that as well in terms of difficulty, I would say. So as I mentioned, it does have 3 checkpoints, so you do not have to go 0 to 100 without falling off. There are some quite difficult obstacles mixed in here as well. Talking about unique obstacles, there's not really anything that's too unique in here because this is the original Perplexus. And because of that, most of the other Perplexuses have used similar obstacles. But one of the most difficult obstacles in this maze, in my opinion, is this section right here. I don't even know how to describe it. You have to go up this little curve-shaped track, drop down to the right, and then come back across the top and walk across that wire. And it's, one of the classic, extremely difficult sections of this puzzle. There's a few other unique and interesting sections in here as well. The end of the second section here where you have to drop yourself up, and then you have to drop the ball from basically the exit of that tube there and bring it across onto track 3. That's a very difficult transition to make. And then additionally, I'd say the other really hard standout section in this is this butterfly section, as I call it. It is quite difficult to maneuver because the ball just wants to fling around it with force and fly off the track, and you can't do that. One other little interesting thing about this track that none of the other Perplexuses have is there is an area here where you could, in theory, skip ahead if you wanted to. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend it, but there's an area here where, surprisingly, they didn't divide the track, so you can actually go from one section of the maze to a totally different section of the maze, which again, not something that you'd see in any of the newer Perplexuses, but this is the original, so there's some little things like that. For those of you who are wondering why it looks so beaten up along the edges, that's actually because I have opened and resealed this Perplexus. Unfortunately, it doesn't really reseal amazingly, but it still functions absolutely fine. And I have a video on my channel about opening the Perplexus if that interests you, if you ever needed to do that. It's really cool to take the lids off these things and see the maze. I didn't ever bother try playing it without the encasing, but that would be a fun little thing to do as well. Overall, I don't have too much more to say about this. There's a real strong sense of nostalgia here. I really like this maze. And like I said, a lot of the obstacles that would have originally been unique to this have been the basis for future Perplexus challenges, like the spiral section in the middle has been turned into both the Go Spiral and the mini spiral mazes, for example, right? You have lots of these other sections that have become, commonplace in other ones. As well, sections where you have to flip an arm like that. That is a really cool part of this track. And then, running the ball along the top of this path here. One wall sections, again, stuff like that, that really felt groundbreaking when you first played this, but they have really utilized it in many of the other toys to follow, and I think improved upon a lot of the stuff here. So that's what I would say is, this is a great Perplexus maze, but you can also tell it was the first maze, and so in future Perplexuses, they have really streamlined a lot of the obstacles in this one. I would still say that either the Perplexus Epic or Death Star are the ultimate Perplexus experience if you are really looking for that, but this is still a fantastic, fantastic Perplexus maze game, and one that, all these years later, I would still highly recommend. So that is my re-review for the Perplexus original, guys. Like I said, fantastic, fantastic maze game. Great challenge. Definitely some Perplexuses that get better over the years, but there's a nostalgia for this one, and this is what kind of got the ball rolling, pun intended, for all this Perplexus franchise. And so for that, this is an invaluable part of the collection, and it's still a really fun and challenging toy to play around with. And it's the original. Some people say you could never beat the original. So overall, I would recommend it for anyone who's a Perplexus purist, or for anyone who wants to, really try it out. It's one of the better ones to start out with because it is the original, and the other Perplexuses expand off this. And so you're not starting with some of those really crazy, wonky Perplexuses. You're starting with just the core of what it is. And if you like it, then you can expand. But, you might not necessarily like it if you start with some of these crazier ones like the Revolution Runner or the Twist, for example. So yeah, like I said, that's my review. Click the like button down below if you like this video, if you found it useful. It's very much appreciated, and help this become the top search result when people search for Perplexus original reviews, because I kind of want to bump this over my original review of the original. Not at all confusing. Subscribe for more Perplexus content like this. I have tons of it on my channel, and I'm going to continue to find ways to keep delivering more to you. So subscribe if any of that interests you. And with all that said, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.